So how do I get rid of the echo, Jeff? Okay. Yep. Thank you. Can I start without the mic? Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome council and staff, media, and Mr. DeMond. As we gather this evening, we pause to remember that in this province, we live and work on lands that are by law the unceded territories of the Wabanaki people, predominantly the land of the Mi'kmaq. May we live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with its people. We also recognize the African Nova Scotians, whose culture, heritage, and history have been and remain a key part of our province for more than 400 years. I'd like to ask for the approval of the agenda. I so move. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dorrington.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor McKenna. And I will just mention that under number 3C will not happen tonight. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. So we're going to move to our first presentation by Coastal Nova Scotia with our student presenter, Cindy McKinnon. Welcome, Cindy, and thank you for coming tonight.
Do I need to do anything with this, or we're good? I think I'm loud enough in it. All right, we'll just start. I'm not sure.
Oh, you don't have to update welcoming.
I thought so. I can talk for days, but it's better to see something. So while that's warming up, thank you for giving us a little bit of time this evening to talk a little bit about Coastal Nova Scotia. Just going to go through a high level thing, some of the things we've been doing, and answer any questions that you may or may not have. All right, we are not. All right, so just as a reminder, Coastal Nova Scotia, we have 4 main pillars that we follow throughout our work. Visitor services, events, partnerships, and destination marketing. So we're still hearing that it's Dean's Destination Eastern Northumberland Shores, formerly Dean's, now we're Coastal Nova Scotia. We'll always be Dean's. We are legally Dean's Destination Eastern Northumberland Shores. But from a visitor's perspective, they don't necessarily care about our name. So from an organizational perspective, our corporate name is still going to be Dean's, but we go by Coastal Nova Scotia now, the brand, because that's what visitors understand, Nova Scotia, and we're obviously coastal. So in case anybody is questioning you on that, we are Coastal Nova Scotia. We're still kind of Dean's. So some of our destination marketing things that we're up to, we do have our Shake Up Winter Conference coming up. This is last year's, the pictures. We do ours coming up on April 10th and 11th. Can't beat the price, $30. You get a number of speakers for that. It is throughout the day. And we've partnered with a few other people, one being Ignite Atlantic, and we're doing a pitch session this year as well. So the winner will get a cash prize as well as some other things. And it's just basically encouraging entrepreneurs to come out and pitch an idea that's a tourism idea and just helping support some of those local players. Some of the other items, obviously, our Pictou County Visitors Guide, and we do have New Glasgow as our back page sponsor this year as the advertiser, so that's great to have on board again. We do produce 2 other pieces. The Antigonish Guide will be happening. The Eastern Shore Guide is going to take a different approach this year. We aren't doing an actual guide. We have an Eastern Shore map, and we're going to make the back of that into more of a guide and a visitor activity piece, as opposed to doing the Eastern Shore Guide. Halifax which we do have a portion of Halifax. They produce a guide already that includes pieces that we have as well. So we just felt it was a little bit of a duplication to have another guide, and we can focus on the guides where PISA doesn't have one. So we'll be doing 3 pieces, but just a little bit for this year. We also have the Coastal Cravings campaign, and you may have seen that. You may have even purchased a few. That's a campaign where we offer a little bit of a discount. We give a $50 gift card for 40 and a $25 gift card for 20. We still give the full amount to the restaurants. We just pay the difference. It's actually a great little campaign. We ran it for a couple of weeks, gave over $10,000 back into restaurants. It's a great little campaign that it helps everyone out, and it's just a time where traditionally January, February is a little slower for some places. So this is just a chance for operators to get a little bit of cash in their pockets. We will do it again. I think it's very popular, and it's very reasonably priced for us as well. Visitor services. This year we did things a little differently again. We have 8 visitor centers within our region, so covering from Cole Harbour in Halifax right into the Canso Causeway on the eastern shore, and then from the Canso Causeway up to River Don in Pictou County. So we have 12 municipal units, 4 counties, and just over 460 communities. And we're representing all of those. So we do have 8 visitor information centers within that space. But we have ones here at the rest area in Westville and also at the Wellness Center. And last year we did have a desk at the municipal office in the county as well. And we do plan to do that again this year. It's just a great little partnership. But that's Carly. She lives in New Glasgow. Great student. We had a number of students this year that worked for us within the visitor centers, and plan to hopefully have all those again this year. So the desk at the Wellness Center, it actually serves as a few different services, really. It's the visitor center, so we're talking to visitors, but also when the Wellness Center has large events, we're there as an on-site travel counselor as well. So at the Bantam Memorial Tournament that was held a little while ago, Kara was working there. If there's any questions, people just have questions sometimes. Where do I sharpen my skates? Where do I go eat? I need to pick up something. So she's just there to answer questions, and it's helpful for the staff there because they're often getting asked the questions. So we have a great little partnership with them that if there's questions going on, Kara's also, I mean, if you know Kara, you know she will do this. Sometimes we just can't find a staff person, and she's off finding them for them. That's Kara. We call her Surrey, actually, because she seems to know everything about everyone. So I tell her that to her face as well. But so she's helpful there, and I think it serves as a couple of purposes. We also do some itinerary planning. So if people are asking questions about, we're here for 6 days, we're here for 3 days, what do we do? Those things will hopefully be on our website soon. We do plan to have an updated website fairly soon. And obviously just the membership promotions. We are not membership based anymore, but we do have members in terms of municipalities, operators, stakeholders, things like that. The Did You Know e-newsletter, I think most of you are getting that now in terms of council. Really popular. A lot of hotels are using it now. They'll print it off and have it at their front desk. So when visitors are in town and they're asking what to do, it's a solid list. We did actually a list. It was probably one of our biggest pieces. Just before Christmas, we put out a little notice about the holiday markets and some of the Christmas craft fairs, and it was crazy the amount of visits that we had from it. People were interested. I actually ran into someone at one of the craft shows. She was from Antigonish, and she said, I actually printed it off. And she said, I took a screenshot of it on my phone, and we're visiting all of them here today. So we know it's being used, so that's great. Our website, again, it's on our website, the newsletter as well, and a lot of the information from our social media, but there's a lot of opportunity on the website, and really going to try to encourage some of the operators and the attractions to just go over their listings and make sure things are right, and if they have updated pictures to include those as well. We have a lot of partnerships and a lot of people that we partner to do things on. One is Events Nova Scotia, so we do have an events manager in our office, and Liz is partially funded through Events Nova Scotia. Initially, when she came on almost two and a little bit years ago, we did initially ask the municipalities to help fund that, but since then we've funded it ourselves, and then of course this year the levy is helping to pay for some of that as well. We do have some events picked up county pieces. We did a 55+ games last fall. It wasn't the provincial one, it was just the local one, so we took the lead on that, and just a great opportunity for people to get out, and sometimes they're playing with younger folks as well, but sometimes it's just nice to be within your own age group and you play the different sports. We had a great turnout for pickleball, great turnout for cards. So I think we'll do that every second year. So the year that it's not the provincial games, sort of just an awareness piece, and hope people will introduce themselves to the provincial games, because that really is that's an exciting time, and we know that from hosting it this couple years ago. We do have a Pictou County style pizza campaign going. I will say now that we are planning and we're going to do a Pictou County style pizza festival in May. It's just going to be a one-day event. We partnered with the pizza families, and there's actually a day, I believe it's Alice's Day in May. So we're using that day this year when we're speaking of dates. We're going to start out a little smaller, and then hopefully it builds from there. But there's a lot of great ideas that will come from that, so stay tuned on that one. If you haven't seen, I think most of the people already have, but if you haven't seen the Pictou County style pizza documentary, you'll want to check that out because that's kind of cool too. And we're hoping for a sequel on that before too long. Obviously, our municipalities are partners. Our farmers market in New Glasgow here, we've done the Evergreen now with them for a couple of years, hoping to keep building on that and expanding it a little bit. And we have been talking to Christy just in the last couple of weeks about a couple of summer markets and doing the same type of thing. Not necessarily the hot chocolate in the middle of July, but maybe lemonade or something like that, and still having like the patio lantern type of feel to it, but having something there, just having a little extra to the market itself. And then of course Liz is sitting on the New Glasgow 150 committee, and I'm around for conversations as well occasionally. Oh, I should mention too, I guess the accessibility luncheon there, where we were doing that with events, and then once we found out that some others were talking about it, we did partner with sort of the economic development folks in the county, and we put that on together with them, and had quite a great turnout for that. So I personally would like to see more of that, where we're working collaboratively with all our groups and putting things like that on instead of doing it individually. So our signature event coming up on April 10th. I think you have some tickets already purchased, but you're not going to want to miss it this year. We have been told every year someone says, "Oh, you're not going to beat this one," but I think you did this year. Yeah, Nancy, you'll enjoy it. We have a couple of surprises. I'm not sure if we're going to release who's coming yet or not, but we may. But great event, and it should be a great time on April 10th. Of course, we have the levy, and thank you for the work that you're doing, Kim, especially I guess with your team of putting some of the information together. We know it's been a little bit of a challenge at the beginning, but it's coming around, I think, and slowly getting those platforms together. We did have 2 weeks ago. We did have some planning sessions. We did 4 in the county. We had one here at Glasgow Square. Our consultant got a lot of great information. We're having a meeting with him in 2 weeks' time. He's pulled a lot of it together, and the whole point of this piece was to come up with an actionable tourism community plan. So once it's out, we'll be getting people together again to review it. But we kind of gave an idea, I guess, to everyone about the levy. But we really want to hear from the community, and so we do appreciate the folks that attended that and gave the input. And we do have a survey out right now as well for anyone who hadn't been able to attend. But there's a survey that's been emailed through the constant contact piece. And if you have information or any kind of input that you want to provide, please send it along, and it will get included before we get the final plan. But we will be taking this plan and really building it up with the levy and leveraging the levy money with others. ACOA has paid a portion of this plan and has agreed that they will look and follow up. So we're happy about that. There's a couple of symbols there. We do have a bid in for Nova Scotia Music Week for 2026. Has not been announced yet where it's going. They were a little late in announcing this year, so we're hoping that we get a little more lead time in hoping to plan that. So that which should be given to us would be in November of 2026. We did put in a bid for Softball Canada host a national as well. It went to Fredericton this time, but they know we're interested, and we're going back after them to get another national. We haven't had a softball national here for a number of years. And conferences is the other piece. We're finding out every day that there's another conference coming, and they're always here either a little bit earlier, a little bit later. They stay, they do some other activities. We know there's a couple of that are planned that are coming this year, so we want to get into that a little bit more too, and just go after some of those conferences if there's no reason why they can't be coming to Pictou County. Just a quick financial snapshot. We're at about we're all over the place in terms of our budget. Sometimes it's a little higher, sometimes it's a little lower. This one's about 500,000. We kept it pretty. We keep it pretty lean in terms of operations. We are at the Ignite space, which is a great opportunity for us. A lot of networking there. Our municipal investment remains the same at about 15%, and we're actually proud of that because This is our 14th year, and we've not asked for a penny more from the municipalities. It's based on a formula, of course, but the formula has been pretty much the same for the last number of years. But we haven't asked for any kind of increase, and we don't plan to. And that's because if we have projects to do, we tend to find some funding from some other places and not put it back onto the municipality. So we are proud of that fact that we have not increased that money in 14 years. Regional projects, of course, there is anything from ACOA projects to visitor services things, just things that we've come up with other projects. Sometimes we tend to have a backwards approach to things in terms of budgeting. We don't see what we have in money and do it. We figure out what we want to do and then we find the money to do it. So we do things a little differently that way than some, but we've been successful so far. And of course, the levy. The Pictou County levy is coming in right now. There's still some work to do with the platforms, the Airbnbs, the RVOs, Booking.com. Those places are still, there's still a little bit of a challenge there, but it's coming along. So I think for the most part, the larger operators are contributing, and there's a couple that aren't. But I think we have a plan, and we'll talk to Ken and Kenzie in terms of how we approach that and make sure that it's fair for everyone, because some people are covering it and some people, still a couple that need to do it. So we're in pretty good shape, but there's still a little bit of work to do on that. And expense-wise, we're pretty much the same. We're pretty lean with our operations. We keep things pretty simple. There's two of us full-time. There's a contracted position, and then we have summer seasonal staff. So we're pretty lean that way in terms of between what we can do and our staffing. And I think everything else is pretty much standard in terms of costing. So pretty quick update. I tend sometimes to talk too much, so this one's a little quicker, but if you have any questions, happy to answer anything you have.
Any questions from council?
Yep, so the marketing levy is a levy of 3% across the board. So 2022, I believe, in the fall, enabling legislation came through. So we used to be, Cape Breton used to have one, Halifax used to have one, Yarmouth had one. They were all different. Some were 10 plus rooms, some were 20 plus rooms, some was 3%, some was 2%, some was a flat rate. So in 2022, there was enabling legislation across the board. So it's 3% for all rooms, whether it's one room up to 125, which is our largest one. And they pay 3%. A visitor will pay 3%. Plus, it's taxable, so the taxes will still come back into the municipality.
Through our bylaw.
Through your bylaws, yep. From every visitor that comes in. There are a few exemptions. So if you're here for a funeral, if you're here for medical expenses, if you're here for over 28 days, if you're here as a student, so the student dorms, for example, wouldn't be paying any types of levy. So the levy comes in as part of the municipal bylaws that were created. The money comes into the towns and the county, and then they get transferred over, and we start spending the money. Yeah, that's okay. It's always good to have a refresher.
That would be what you typically pay if you go to a hotel in Halifax. Your levy's probably on there.
And
Or
it's actually,
anywhere.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia is actually probably the cheapest. If you go to some places in the States, you're paying $20 a night, and people don't even notice it for the most part. So, yeah, you're welcome.
Can I just ask something?
Sure.
So, am I right in saying that not all 6 municipalities in Pictou County are doing the levy?
So 5 have the
Five
bylaw
of the
passed.
6, yeah.
Yep. 1 has first reading,
Oh, okay.
and 1 is planning to the same one is planning to take it soon to council again. It's a brand new council, and there's been lots of questions asked and answered. The county has actually asked us to participate in a sort of an open levy day kind of thing where we're just going to be there, and if they have questions, they can ask. So we've invited that municipalities operators to come and chat with us as well, rather than a full room. We're doing one-on-one conversations with them. And once that happens, we are confident that these 6 will go through. Yeah.
I just want to thank you very, very much for the amazing work you do in Pictou County. Really, very much appreciated. I think the Forest Information Center at the Wellness Center is key in a lot of this. It's really made a difference. It's great to walk in there and see that there. So.
Yeah, it's nice to be there too. I think it just there's a lot of networking that can happen there too. It's just a great spot for care especially.
Yeah. And you have volunteers there as well.
We do actually, we have the ambassador program, so I think Helen she's up to a dozen or so. And we've actually had a couple that signed up recently, but just keeping it open a little longer.
Yeah.
Over the winter, there's somebody there, they're having fun with it. You know, there's sometimes they're there and they're knitting or doing their thing, so it's just a great opportunity for them too. Yes, yeah, for sure.
So thank you very, very much
My
for
pleasure,
joining
thank
us.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Okay, next on the agenda, we have an order to consider an order to demolish at 154 Alexander Street. The information was in your package. Is there anybody here to speak to this? Is there anybody here to speak to this? Is there anyone here to speak to this? Okay, with that, we need a motion to move it to the next portion.
Sean, it'd be great if you could just give them like your conversations that you may have had with the owner. We were expecting him, were we not? So the order for him to appear was for council to consider the order to demolish. So if they make the motion for okay, so this is a long-standing property that has had issues that exceed well in excess of 10 years. I think we were into 2011. So there was an order to demolish originally, and that owner at the time actually came and presented to council and indicated he would remedy the situation. Really, there's been no remedy, so maybe you can just speak to the building inspector's findings, because wasn't he with you? Yeah. So they have that report. Is there anything additional you'd like to provide? And is there a building permit in place? Okay. Okay. So there's no building permit in place. The building is in the condition that it is, deemed unsuitable for occupation. There's no power, no water.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Have you heard about 154 Alexander? Yeah. So you're just about to, well, we're in the middle of a motion. Can we take that?
Well, you haven't made a decision, so you can open the floor
Okay.
for.
Okay. So you're going to speak to that? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You want it demolished? I don't want it. Oh, you don't want it demolished? Is there any more information you can provide? As to, we've received a report, and according to this report, it would be deemed, would I be okay in saying unsafe? Yeah. You have a timeline? Are you living it? And you have no timeline? And who do you plan to use, like, would you be doing that yourself? So you are planning to do the renovation pretty extensive? Have you factored in a cost?
Have you acquired a building permit?
Can I ask where you're living? If you live in Canada? Oh, in Little Harbor? Oh, New Harbor. So would you visit your place daily, or do you keep an eye on it, or? Council have any questions?
And after renovation of the property,
That's Pandora.
Seeing the state the house is in, when do you anticipate starting to do some work on it? And or what are you going to do in the meantime to keep the house in a safe, so it is very unsafe? Because someone can? Well, they can, did you not say that they'd already ripped the boards off? Someone ripped the boards off?
Thank you.
Mr. Fraser, did you receive a copy of the report from the inspector?
No.
Because he deems that the foundation is struck.
Is there any questions? Councilor McKenna? Oh. Okay.
I think the difficulty, I think the difficulty is before you came in, they talked about issues in this going back with this place 11 years at least. That since you bought it, there's been some work you've done on it, but it still continues to be an issue, and that's, I think that's one of the concerns of the residents in that area. So. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. We all see this. Okay, so advise again. Could we ask you to bring a comprehensive plan of your intentions within the next 3 weeks? Because this will have to come to council. That comes to our next council meeting.
So what I would focus on, so you indicated you had a conversation with the building inspector? Okay, so, but you've never seen the building inspection report? Okay, that's interesting. He did write a report. We have a copy of the report. So what you need to do is 3 weeks from today. So that would be April the 7th. So April the 7th, you'd have to bring forth an engineer's report to address the foundational issues and all of the other items that are outlined in the building inspector's report that was issued in conjunction with the bylaw enforcement officer. Without that information, council already has a motion on the floor for demolition. It's probably more than enough time considering the length of time that the building's been in an unsafe condition, requiring a lot of resources from fire, police, bylaw enforcement, and our public works, because several times we've had to secure the property.
Perhaps your first step would be to contact the building inspector to get the report and move quickly from there.
So April 7th would be the deadline. Sean can certainly provide him the contact information for the building inspector and provide a copy of the report, but April 7th would be the deadline to have that information before council for their consideration of demolition at the next meeting, because it's currently on the floor. They just haven't voted yet. So April 7th. No, the property's been on demolition order before, and the past owner came and presented to council and indicated that they would get a plan in place, and they had all kinds of timelines, and then they disappeared. So the building's been on the radar because it's been an issue for the town for quite some time, and an issue within the neighborhood. A lot of disruption has been occurring.
So did you want to add anything or?
No, we'll have a copy of we'll have all the information available to pick up at the town hall tomorrow. And then April 7th will be the deadline to provide all of the information required to address the deficiencies, and council will make a determination at their next council meeting if it'll be demolished or not, but that could proceed. Well, you weren't the owner then. Not our business.
I don't know that. I think we have to start, you know, we're taking it from here, and, I think that's a reasonable offer from the town to give you the time to get this together and, you know, it's hard for us to give you much more than that. I mean, it's, you know, coming here and saying there's no plan, there's no, you know, you've got nothing sort of in the works, but we're gonna get it done by the end of the year. It's hard work to do. If you could provide the information, that would be good, too. Okay.
So we have a motion on the floor for demolition. So what you're asking is now for a deferral to the next meeting for the decision.
Moved by Councilor Peters,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councilor McDonald, any further questions? All in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
opposed, motion carries. So you have 3 weeks to get that information, that would be good. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of our last meetings and our proclamation. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dorrington,
Seconded?
seconded by Councilor McKenna. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. On to our approval of a committee report, or of our report. The committee as a whole report. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dorrington,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilor Peters. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our finance report. Moved by Councilor McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilor Peters. Any questions on the motion? I'll just mention one, so we have a month left on, this budget. Are you feeling confident? It's March. That's right, I realize it. Right. Okay. We're not in this, that's all I need. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The engineering and public works report. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dorrington, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The solid waste report. Moved by Deputy Mayor, Dorrington,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilor Peters. Any questions on the motion? We still have one thing to mention. We were aware that Monday's pickup days have changed I don't know if any of you have heard from any, I guess it would have to be residents that would have been affected by it.
I am affected by that.
The notice was supposed to be put in your mailbox.
Yes.
I just had somebody asking why, and then I thought, well, we should know if it was put in your mailbox. See the people.
Yes. It's a new contract because as we experienced, especially this Christmas, I think it was the West Side, we had some real challenges because we had a lot of the holidays are on Mondays, and then those Mondays have to be made up on Saturdays. And then we had snowstorms. So we had some people on the West Side that experienced 4 weeks with no garbage collection. So this is a way to ensure that there's always a makeup day available.
Good job. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The first report. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dorrington,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Smith. Any questions on the motion? Just one comment. I am hoping that the next report will have information from the community policing officer.
It will, your worship, we have finalized it.
Yeah, I also noticed that there was talk of doing an open house in
That's correct. We're in with Franklin's last weather. So we're finding out way.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? The community development report. Moved by Councilor Peters, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? The business development officer report. Moved by Councilor Peters, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dorrington. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? The fire report, the fire inspection report. Moved by Councilor McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilor McKenna. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Information technology report. Moved by Councilor Peters, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Any question on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And human resources and corporate communications. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dorrington, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you to all the staff for your report. The excellent work you're doing, really critical. On to the new business and account. You have a motion to approve our account. Moved by, Councilor Peters,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilor McKenna. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried and a motion to adjourn. Thank you. So we need our movers and seconders to sign.
I know, I don't know either, because you know, like tough living, right?
Pardon me? I think Jim, you did.
Jim,
I have to wonder if people are awake at some point. Yeah, I know. Okay, everybody ready for State of the Whole? Ask for approval of the agenda. Moved by Councilor Dorrington,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilor Penna. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carried. Our state matters for senior staff, we have a recommendation from our acting living manager regarding the core transportation AC network project. The message, then the recommendation is a motion to approve option one, which is community engagement and class C, class C. And those are that's in the information provided for the continuation of the core active transportation network project. Lots of information to read through, plus the engagement sessions for the different phases. And you'd like to make a motion and second it, second, by Deputy Mayor Dorrington. Second by Councilor Peters. Questions on the motion? Go ahead. Mhm. That's right. One of the, I don't think it was a planned engagement, yes, it was a planned engagement session with, and the downtown business superintendent. I think it was a plan, and it was actually adamantly opposed. So that was considered.
So will this one,
So he comes to the downtown and it's like stop. If I remember correctly, it's Riverside they're looking at. Temperance maybe, like it's hugging the downtown, but it's not downtown. So we won't see the bike rack downtown. You can't cycle downtown. Well, you could technically ride your bike on the bike route. Then you could get off it and walk it up to the bike rack. I mean, if you wanted to go, example, if you wanted to go to the bank and you were taking your bike, I mean, you could actually ride it. You could ride the bike. You could ride the bike. Yeah. We'll have a bike lane. That's right. So you realize with this that just making sure we all understand that the class C to class C is the $70,000 that we receive for this work. But that doesn't get you to the project. It's sort of the next step in the project. It doesn't get the work done. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? All in favor, please, by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a recommendation from our Assistant Director of Engineering and Public Works. The recommendation is for, the council endorse the updated proposed multi-year cost-share capital paving program with the Nova Scotia Department of Public Works. The four remaining priority projects for road rehabilitation include Westfall Road Phase 2, Westfall Road Phase 1, Little Harbor Road, and Trenton Road Phase 1. Characterized submission allows the town to deliver all projects in the time period specified in a financially responsible manner that focuses on current conditions. In addition, the project of Little Harbor Road and Trenton Road will require a commitment from the water utility to fund waterway improvements. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dornbus,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilor McKenna. Any questions on the motion? I just have one for the engineer. It was just under the risk. No? So, I know that you have to identify any possible risk. Do you feel this risk as being probable or just possible? It was just proceeding with the cost share agreement that the town will have to commit to a 5-year approved project from the list in the time frames imposed. If all projects are approved, this may require deferral of work or possible tax increases depending on priorities that develop. So I think, on my understanding of that, if something comes up that would rise above the priorities that we have that we committed to, in order to do that, those would be, we have to defer the work or raise the tax.
These projects were estimated to get together, and the only combination of having the infrastructure of the water main, certainly from the previous.
Yeah.
But we also can't say we're gonna do all the stuff for roads in 1 year, because we do get the max funding.
Okay, that was my only. Any further comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have a recommendation from the Director of Social Services. The recommendation is for council to authorize a property tax extension for 2025-26 taxation year in the maximum amount of $405. To be approved of this extension, the following is property now. Property is assessed as taxable in the so the property must be occupied by that person as the principal residence. The total income for the calendar year 24, including the income of a social partner and other family members residing in the same property, but excluding an allowance for pension, paid pursuant to the War Veterans Allowance Act, which is equal or less than $34,000. Moved by Councilor Peters, seconded by Councilor McDonald. Any questions on the motion?
Yes, I have a question. I'm just wondering, historically, how many have participated in this in past years in this program?
Any thoughts on why the reduction is happening year over year?
Any further questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a recommendation from our director of public works, and the recommendation is that council adopt the accessibility action plan for 25-26. That's short. 25 to 28. Moved by Councilor McDonald. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Dorrington. Any questions on the motion?
Yes, Your Worship. Earl, I know that in your report
That the accessibility advisory committee is set up as the legislative requirement. Has there been any input from that committee before? The draft report was sent to the committee.
Will that committee be, is it now open, or do we start a new one, or how does that work?
The reference to the 3-year term,
Right.
so most of those will be, almost the whole closing, yeah. You do need to have about 10 to 15 people. You can consider maybe a little bit broader of because in 50% of citizen capital, you can represent organizations that have accessibility themselves. And it's the broader range you have just so you can set it broad to understand. You know, from the first row. So we need to get a new committee going. You don't need to go. You don't need to set it from scratch.
No, there's been a lot of work done on it.
and I understand that I'm just a little uncomfortable when there hasn't been any input from, and I understand now why, which I didn't before. Thank you for that. Just a little uncomfortable voting for it, to support it without input.
The only other comment on that is the input from here, people on the committee, because it's embedded in there wasn't an assigned task to the committee to help them.
And this is a renewal of a plan. It's not a new plan.
And just on the renewal, like, the director from the facility director as well, you could simply take your plan from last year and say, this year ago, like you change it around and then we're gonna try to make it simpler. And, yeah, we're not ignoring it the last time, but the whole time it's maybe.
Any further questions?
It's a living document. It's not a document that we send it in and that's your plan. Can't change it. It's a living document. So because there will be a new committee, there may be new perspectives on some of the things. And because we already have the plan in with the province, it's our plan. So there could be things that change, adapt. There could be other input that comes forth that may be really valuable that we want to change.
And the plan is to be posted publicly, so it's really a plan for our citizens. the committee plan is concerned. So we need engagement and input going forward, and if we do a better job, a good job of getting this plan over, and that's, we might get comments back from some citizens saying, we have to bother this area, you know, so there's opportunities that we could.
And I think when we think back to like last month when the equity and anti-racism plan was approved, the very first action is to develop an engagement policy. So we really need to understand how each of these different audience that we want input from. So that policy will guide all of the engagement for all aspects. So that's the very first action in the plan that was approved last month. Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions, comments? We need to, your suggestion, recommendation. For the next meeting, okay,
Yeah.
right.
And I think also the engagement policy that's being developed as part, like that's an overarching, it's not a policy around equity and anti-racism. It's gonna be the guiding
Okay,
policy
yeah, that's it.
for the town on everything we
Yeah,
do.
that's it. Okay. So all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. We have a, information on the library funding approval from February 25th. We council business, we're here to formalize the motion. There is funding in this. Okay, you have that up there, I know sometimes you want to read the motion here. So moved by Councilor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moore. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Under, new business, we have a memo and a letter from GFL. Moved by, Councilor Peters. Seconded by Councilor McKenna. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have a memo from It was a request for,
Community Health Center.
yeah, community health center regarding, fall program. And the recommendation is to refer the fact finding request for council's consideration for the grant acceptance of our budget deliberations for fiscal 25-26. And any consideration to be contingent upon all considered contributing their respective sales tax. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dorrington, seconded by Councilor McKenna. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a request from, Cal to refer, and the recommendation is to refer the attached funding request of $45,335 for council consideration in the budget deliberations for fiscal 25-26. Moved by Councilor McKenna. Seconded by Councilor Peters. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a request from Panama, and its recommendation is to refer the attached funding request for consideration in a budget deliberations for fiscal 25-26. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dorrington, seconded by Councilor McDonald. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a request from Highland Community Residential Services for recommendations to refer the attached funding request for council consideration during the grant acceptance of the budget deliberations for fiscal 25-26, and any consideration should be contingent upon all by towns contributing 26-28. Moved by Councilor Peters, second by Councilor McDonald. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? We have a funding request from the Pittston Volunteer Road Station Rescue. And the recommendation is to refer the funding request for council consideration to a budget committee for fiscal 25-26. Moved by Deputy Mayor Johnson,
And that?
seconded by Councilor McKenna. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We have a funding request from the county side. Recommendation is to refer the funding request for council consideration to the budget deliberation for 25-26. Moved by Councilor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dorrington. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? We have a funding request from State of Pittsburgh County, and the recommendation is to refer this funding request for council consideration to a budget deliberation for fiscal 25-26, using the same amount as allocated in previous years.
Bishop, I'd like to move that, we refer that.
Moved by Councilor McKenna, seconded by Councilor Peters. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have a grant request from Riverview Home Volunteer Association, and the recommendation is to refer the sponsorship request to council consideration during the grant acceptance of our budget for the 25-26. Moved by Councilor Peters, seconded by Deputy Mayor Dorrington. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. It's a lot of requests. Another request was from North Nova Education Center, and, it's a request for the 26-25 graduation, and the recommendation is to refer the council consideration budget deliberations to fiscal 25-26. Moved by Deputy Mayor Johnson, seconded by Councilor McDonald. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay. In your package is a letter from the Minister of Municipal Affairs regarding wind turbine setback regulations.
Motion to receive?
Moved by Councilor McKenna. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Dorfman. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? We have, the FDM annual conference, and I believe there's been interest to attend. Council requires permission to travel.
Permission to travel, and because it's out of Atlantic Canada, our policy is 2 council members plus the mayor are permitted, but you still need permission. So as of today, there's 3 councilors that have expressed interest.
Take your interest back. And I'm not going.
Well, if you're not going, then technically 3 could. Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
still have more information. All right. And with me not going, actually, 3 councils.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So the request is for.
Councillor Jessica McDonald, Councillor Jim McKenna, he's the permission would be granted, but he's going to determine if he chooses to go based on the content of the program, is what he told me. And Councillor Peters. So the motion would be to grant permission for those 3 individuals to
Can
attend.
they vote on the permission given? Yeah. You're voting for. So that's the motion. You approve the 3 councils attending the FDM conference. It was by Deputy Mayor Dorfman, seconded by Councilor Peters. Any question on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. There, you're all ready to roll. And there's a great report or great passage in our passage about the travel expense policy and so on and so forth. That's certainly good to have. And we are moving.
I need Earl. Thank you.